Aaron Whitlow.
And I am Brandon Spivey. And welcome back to the Markout Movie Podcast. Woo-hoo!
He is on 100 right now. And today we are doing a tribute episode dedicated to Brandon's grandfather, Ray Johnson. Um, and but before we get to that, we're going to talk about. Do you want to talk about anything that you watched?
Yeah, I guess I can. I can name one movie.
Okay.
Air. Saw it with a friend, Cody, last Thursday, actually. About how Nike got Michael Jordan to agree to be represented by Nike in his rookie season. I thought Ben Affleck did a great job directing. I thought it was one of Matt Damon's finest performances. He's I love when he works with Ben because you get the real Matt Damon.
Mhm.
You get good work from Matt Damon, and I just love their chemistry. Jason Bateman was also good in that movie. Viola Davis was great. It was really a very entertaining, funny film. Actually, very there's a lot of humorous moments in that movie. It was a great time. I really loved it. One of my favorites of the year.
Okay. All right. Well, before I get to the one I really loved, I gotta tell you about the one I did. Did I talk about Bros last week?
Talk about what?
Bros.
You did not mention to me about Bros. I don't
I said,
think.
yeah. You commented.
You didn't because we didn't have an episode last
Oh
week.
yeah, we didn't. There we go. So yeah, I watched Bros. I wasn't really too crazy about it. I thought it was had a lot of cut to humor, like kind of like a Family Guy type of thing. Whenever they talk about a joke and then like that show you what they're talking about, it's a joke. That's that type of humor doesn't really it doesn't hit well with me now. Like I'm not. I used to be a huge Family Guy guy, but I'm not as much now. I think that the humor isn't as funny as I thought it was. But so with Bros, I kind of felt the same way. I felt it was just more or less just a not really a good movie. Um, I Want to Dance with Somebody, the Whitney Houston biopic, which was uh, dumpster fire
Wow.
throughout the whole film. The first of all, the lady that got to play Whitney Houston doesn't look like Whitney at all. Like I never at one point in the movie said, "Yeah, it's Whitney." Whereas like with Austin Butler, he disappeared into Elvis, so that at the end of the movie, when they actually show Elvis, you're like, "Oh, that's right, he is in Elvis." You know, that's but with this, it feels like a Lifetime movie that was released in theaters. As my thoughts, 1 star. I didn't like it.
Wow.
Um, Another 1 star movie that I watched that I didn't like is Praise This, which is on Peacock. Um, this movie is it's just terrible. Now, last year, I know you didn't like Honk for Jesus as
No, I did.
much as I did. I really thought it was pretty great. I thought the satire in it was pretty spot on. Uh, Praise This is just it's terrible. It's like Fighting Temptations and yeah, it's like Fighting Temptations but worse. Uh,
Is that the Cuba Gooden Jr. movie?
yeah, and Beyonce. Yeah. Um, but yeah, with young Beyonce, freshly from Destiny's Child Beyonce, I think. But yeah, it was. But Praise This was terrible. It was terrible. It's trash. I think it's worse than Whitney Houston. Um, Now, a movie that I watched that I really enjoyed that came out this year is Jesus Revolution. I absolutely enjoyed it. I
Told
had
you.
fun. I had fun with it. I think Jonathan Rumi was great as Lonnie. I thought uh, Kelsey Grammer was excellent in it. Uh, I thought the whole cast performed well, and it was a moving story, and it kept the story moved along,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it. Uh, I gave that one 5 5 stars on Letterboxd. Lastly, Evil Dead Rise. My goodness. Absolutely. Hey, Bilford. What's up, buddy?
Hello,
Uh,
Wilford.
he also said he liked Honk for Jesus. Um, but yeah, Evil Dead Rise. I thought it was an excellent little horror film. I thought it was.
Wilford disagrees.
Hey, that's fine. We don't we don't have to agree on everything, but I loved it. I thought it had the feel of the 2003 or 2013 reboot, uh, requel maybe. I don't know if that's what you call it, but it was. I thought it was really had that feel for it, but also I love that it's in a high rise. It gave me like Poltergeist 3 vibes, um, because it takes place in the high rise. And then it also gave me vibes of Chucky in some sense, because Chucky, for the most part, Child's Play takes
Yeah.
place for the most part in a high rise. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought, I actually can't wait to see it again. But yeah, that's what I
Wow.
saw.
Wilford, you're the second person that said it was trash. Well, not trash. Other person told me it was boring, but Aaron loves it. And a lot of people love it. I haven't seen it myself, but uh, what you're saying, it's like 2013. That's a little alarming to me. I was hoping it was going to go back to what it originally was, campy, fun, not serious. So
Mm.
we'll see.
No.
I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm not really excited about it, but I'm going to go watch it. But I'm curious to see how I react because a lot of people love it. Like it's got a pretty good score on the audience score, Rotten Tomatoes. Uh, Letterboxd got a good score. So, but there's a few people that just didn't work for.
Hmm.
But
Uh,
I'm curious though.
all right. Well, with that being said, like I said, this episode is dedicated to Ray Johnson. Um, Let me do something here real quick. Brandon, tell us a little bit about Mr. Johnson.
Oh, well, I will first say that the reason I chose this film, ever since I can remember, he just would always talk to me about horse racing, especially the Kentucky Derby. Every time I visit him as a child up to teenage years, he was always be watching a horse race. I don't care what time it was. I'd go in, he'd be watching horse race, and he would tell me all about it and why he loved it. And he always loved to go. I think he went to the track in his younger years and watched horse racing. So, but he was in Germany in the military in the army from 1958 to 1960. Same time frame Elvis was. Uh, he even told me a couple stories about him being in the army with Elvis. So um, he was a really good person. He would do anything for you, like literally. He owned a transmission shop, and some people couldn't pay, and he took care of it. I've never heard anybody doing that in the history of anybody owning any, kind of transmission shop or that did that for people. He was always good to people. He would give people the shirt off his back for him, and um, truly, one of the he was a man about family more than anything. Family values. That's what he taught me and all the other grandkids and his kids. He was a man of family values, and he's just gonna be really missed. Um, man, but the reason I chose this is his love for horse racing, and just I think he would have really appreciated us doing this for him in his memory, because it's a special bond between Toby Maguire's character and the horse Seabiscuit. And I know he liked the movie, so
Yeah. By the way, we got Dinu, who is an excellent apologetics. She's an excellent sister in Christ. Man, thank you for tuning in. Uh, and then Bilford says, for his Evil Dead, my ranking Evil Dead franchise is 2, 1, 3, 2023, and 2013. I don't know how you feel about that, Brandon.
From what I've seen, well, I don't even call it Evil Dead 3. Army of Darkness did last, in my opinion, but that's just me.
Yeah. So let's see here. We got Hey Dinu. All right.
Hello.
Brandon, also in looking at Seabiscuit, I noticed this with your grandfather's the timeline in which he lived. He was born in 1934, so he was born during the Great Depression,
Yeah.
Towards the tail end of the Great Depression. So he possibly experienced a lot of things that they did in this film. He went through World War One, not as obviously he didn't serve because he was too young to
Yeah.
obviously serve at that point. Was he in the Korean War?
Nah,
Did he serve?
he just served. He got drafted in 1958 and served 2 years.
You say in Germany though?
Yeah, in Germany.
Okay, okay. So he didn't actually, which thank him for his service, but he didn't actually have to see combat though, correct?
No, he was a officer when he served, but no, he didn't see any combat.
Okay. But yeah, so Seabiscuit. This is like the third time that this film has been made. First, initially came out in 1939, um, and it then was remade as the story of Seabiscuit in 1949, like 10 years later, and then in 2003, uh, this version came out, which to me it gave me all the feels, man. You know, honestly, it's classic Toby, classic Jeff Bridges, classic Chris Cooper, and then William H Macy,
Yeah,
who steals the scene. Everything William H Macy is in, he steals it, in my opinion.
I mean, that's
So,
William H Macy. I mean, he's a scene stiller. Yeah, I was actually, as far as performances go, more impressed with Chris Cooper.
mm,
Well, I mean, I was impressed with Toby. I think it's his best performance ever. But Chris Cooper doesn't get the recognition he deserves, and I felt like he outperformed Jeff Bridges in this movie
yeah.
by a landslide. I mean, it wasn't even close. But I did like Jeff Bridges.
Bilford says, "Are we now on Thursday show? Yeah, we're gonna start rolling on Thursday. Um, trying this out, see how this goes. Um, One thing that I noticed as well in this film was first I misremembered Charles Howard, who was a real life guy. He's a real life person that lived. Charles Howard, I always thought this was John Ford. I don't know why. I was thinking it was John Ford, but it wasn't. It's Charles Howard. He owned a bicycle shop and later got into automotives.
Yeah,
Because there's a Stanley steamer that pulls up to his shop that he hustles his way into, saying, "Yeah, I can fix it." And I noticed that this is a true underdog story with every single one of the characters is at the bottom of the bottom when it
yeah.
comes to life, and I thought that was really amazing. Toby's so good in this movie.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him. I had only seen it once before, but he was just brilliant in this, playing this angry young man, And I got why he was angry. I mean, he got left. His parents left him when he was like 10, 11 or so, and that stayed with him for the rest of his young life. But he was so good, though, playing this angry young man. Talking to the horse, cussing the horse out. Just It was entertaining, but it was like, man, this guy's got a lot of anger in him.
Yeah. Um. So let's start from the beginning of the film. We have a. I think the movie starts with uh, Charles Howard, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, and like I said, he was down. Nobody was buying bikes, and this is the same time frame that the automotive, the car, has already been invented. Henry Ford has created. I said John Ford earlier. I think I meant Henry Ford. I apologize. I know history, guys. Don't at me. But Henry Ford has created the automobile. At one point, they were called steam wagons, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, and you so horses and horse-drawn carriages and bicycles are going out of style, and so you have this movement, and where this man made a lot of money. Charles Howard made a bunch of money selling cars, um, and but he experiences a tragedy, uh, and of the death of his son. And I don't know if this is the real that I don't know if this really happened or not. Which everything like it's like almost like his empire crumbled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that whole? What was your thought on that whole scene, especially with the backfire and the birds flying? I thought it was really well shot, by the way. So
Yeah. I mean, anytime you see in a movie a child die, that's anytime. I mean, it doesn't really matter what kind of movie it is. It's sad. Uh, yeah, you got me a message. Uh,
but
it's
go
just
ahead.
it's really sad. Man, what is okay? I'm having some sound issues.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm hearing me too, like double.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know what's going on in your world, Brandon. But yeah, that scene. So the kid drives his father's car while the father's out at work, and which dude, man, what are you doing, kid? He drives the car, and they collide. He collides with another vehicle, and kid dies. Now, this is my one criticism of the movie. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like the time in the movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I felt like they sped up the time of things to happen really quickly and didn't allow it to breathe. Um, I almost think that you could have started it later on in the film, but they wanted to show where people was down and out on their luck. But yeah, let's see. Bilford says he hears an echo too. I hear an echo only when Brandon talks. Ah, so Brandon is an echo now. It's like lock and key. If you don't get the reference if you haven't seen the show or read the graphic novels. But all
I'm back.
right. Are you back?
I am back. Is there still an echo?
Bilford, is there still an echo? Let a brother know, or two brothers know.
I
But
don't hear
anyway,
anything.
you don't hear nothing now?
No.
Like me or people?
No, it was me that was hearing. Like it was an echo. I don't hear
Okay,
it
you
now.
can hear me because you're responding to me.
Well,
Okay.
I always could hear you.
Brandon, are you ready, Orton, right now? Do you hear voices in your head? Yes or no?
Not today. Okay, I just heard an echo again. I don't know what's going on. Just gonna go with it though.
All right, so let's see. No more echo. So Bilford will monitor and let us know. Be new if you're still watching. If you hear anything, if it's weird to you, let us know as well. Um, so this film, let me tell you first. I didn't remember. I forgot Elizabeth Banks being in this movie. By the way.
Well, I mean, she was forgettable.
Oh,
I mean, kinda. I mean. Okay, tell me
oh,
one amazing scene she did.
You
I mean,
asking me to tell you one amazing thing she did?
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
if she was
I
memorable,
I thought she had a nurturing she had a nurturing mannerisms of a mother, if anything. Um, I think that she showcased that that aspect of that Toby or Red was missing. Matter of fact, I would say Charles and Marcella is her name, I guess. Um, I think that they fill that role of a parent to Red, even though they were not that far in the age of one another, but still, I thought that that
I
was
actually think she's younger than Toby.
yeah, but still, I think that like the scene where like there's a scene where Toby or Red goes and says like they're on the train cart and they're having soup and he doesn't want to eat for two reasons. One, he's not used to he's not used to eating like that. Um, yeah, and this is distracting me. I'm sorry, but
I feel you.
anyway, uh, so they there is so there is a scene
Wow.
where he's doing where they're eating and he's not used to having that much food and then secondly uh he's wants to keep he does whatever he can to keep his weight down so he can ride because he
Yeah.
doesn't know if he's going to get the ride or not but like he had trust issues and he didn't know he can trust Charles and Charles let him know hey no you're my rider don't worry about
Yeah.
it eat I want you to eat.
Yeah. But you understand his trust issues. Still hearing that echo. It's very distracting. But yeah, he had trust issues ever since, I guess, he felt abandoned, you know, and, but I get the point. The
Is your Facebook
parents,
up maybe?
I cut it off. So
Okay.
I don't know what it is. No, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, nothing is on, so I don't know what it
Okay.
is. Is your
All
Facebook
right.
on?
No.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
But
But
anyway.
anyway, goodness gracious. He when he when the parents left him, he felt abandoned. But I got
Mhm.
why they left because he had a gift, and they wanted him to prosper in life with his gift. So I got it. The only thing I hated about this movie is that we didn't get to see the parents again. Whatever happened to them? Did they never try to have a relationship with him afterwards? I mean, you know,
Yeah, they literally abandoned him for good, right?
yeah, it seems that way. And so I got his trust issues. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know honestly what happened to him. But nevertheless, um in this film we have let's see, we have Bilford saying Echo is back but not bad. Brandon, I hear an echo when you raise your voice.
okay, I'll check my volume.
Brandon, don't raise your voice.
it's only it's
Um
only it's only at 16%. So okay, I'll
no, I'm
try
just
not to
playing.
raise my voice.
I'm just playing.
I'll talk
But
soft.
what do you think about the relationship between Red and Georgie? Wolf, George Wolf.
I mean, I like that. They had a fun, you know, back and forth kind of conversations and a bond. You know,
Mhm.
they were always betting each other who was going to win the race or who was going to do better. They had a fun relationship. I thought they came off across as true friends, and wanted the best for each other.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I
And that
love that.
comes into play later in the movie. So
Yeah, yeah. I felt like with Red, I felt like he felt like he was just a loser and worthless and not gonna. He felt the need to fabricate his stories and you know make himself bigger than he was,
Yeah.
like to compensate for. Not saying that he wasn't um, a great man or anything, but he he had to do that in order to kind of compensate for his shortcomings, not having money, not by being abandoned, by having all these different things that happened to him. But I think that I think that all he really needed was people to really take a chance on him, and that I think that's the message in this film too, is that all people need is for somebody to take a chance on them.
Yeah.
What would your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, when you feel like you're I don't want to say he felt worthless, but when you are in that mindset or close to that mindset, yeah, you just want someone to take a chance on you, so you can prove it not only to them but to yourself that you are worthy. And I think that was what he wanted mostly, just to get an opportunity to prove himself,
Hmm.
and he made the most of it when he got his opportunity.
Yeah, and then you have so let's talk about Seabiscuit himself. Seabiscuit was the sire of Man of War, which was a very famous racehorse who won a bunch of awards. And actually, I believe War Admiral was Seabiscuit's brother. Um, I, the way that's the way I took that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that the pedigree is there within the same family.
Yeah,
Um, Now I don't know if there's any current racehorses that are still that's of the same lineage. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I kept misremembering this movie and confusing it with uh, Sagittarius a lot of times, and it's crazy because they're not the same movie at all.
I haven't seen that.
I think Sagittarius is like Disney's film. Sagittarius was a horse, I think in the '70s. I think I'm not sure, but yeah. But this movie though was the horse. Seabiscuit was not just the horse of Charles and and Tom, but also Reds, but also the people, because it felt like that the people who were uh, the underdogs at this time
Yeah,
because of the financial crisis, the poverty, the little shanty towns and things like that that's popping up. Hoovervilles is what they called them. I think that they were needing something to kind of give them hope, and I think that they felt that through Seabiscuit. Um,
yeah, I agree. I mean, it really is an incredible story what this horse was able to do and how he did bring hope to everybody involved. I mean, it's incredible what an animal can do that someone's really down on their luck. It can bring love back in their life. It can bring hope. It just can encourage you so much. And I don't know. It's a great piece. What this horse was able to accomplish.
mm,
And I love the fact that Chris Cooper's character, I can't think of his name, but
Tom Smith.
saw something in the horse first. You know, at least I think it was his character that saw something
It
in the
was
horse.
him. Yeah,
Um, I
he looked
just,
in. It said that he looked in his eye and he saw something there.
yeah, and he needed a rider that wouldn't quit. That had no had a lot of fight in him. And I remember he saw Toby's character cursing out this other horse. He just kind of smiled, and Toby kind of looked at him like weird. It's like, what are you looking at? He
Not
just was
only that,
smiling.
he saw him at one point, like he seen a juxtaposition of the Seabiscuit trying to be wrangled by like the men
Mm-hmm.
around him, and then um, he also saw Toby being accosted by a bunch of guys, and he's like swinging his lunch pail at him, and he said, "Come on, I take you all on. I take you." Essentially, he was being Seabiscuit. Uh, it's crazy how this movie kind of makes it as if both of them shared the same spirit.
Yeah.
In a sense of because when like Toby almost in this movie, not in real life because this is not a real thing, but it felt like Red had a almost like a premonition of Seabiscuit getting injured, getting becoming lame.
Yeah.
Uh, what was your thoughts on? Well, did you also feel like he was Toby was man? That's just another layer. Do you feel like Toby was a little bit jealous of Georgie because Georgie was kind of starting to ride and becoming like their rider, and that did he feel like he was going to be left out? You think?
Well, I think he saw the writing on the wall, and the doctor said he would never ride again. So he's like, I mean, when an injury like that happens to you, and you're told you're never going to be able to do what you did before. I mean, it does something to you mentally. I don't think he was jealous. I just feel like he felt like his whole world was just collapsing, and there was nothing he can
Mm.
do. And he's like, screw what everybody's saying. I'm going to ride again. You know.
You know, this movie draws a lot of parallels for me with actually Ford v Ferrari in the sense of that was another underdog type of story where no one thought a Ford is going to beat a Ferrari. You know, it's like this
Yeah.
fancy car, uh, and all they really wanted was that race to show that no, we can compete. Um, and Christian Bale in that movie, I think that he had an injury too, where he
Yeah.
wasn't really supposed to be driving because of an illness. But Tom Smith said something in this movie uh, about Rand's injury. He says because when Jeff Bridges' character Charles says, "I don't want him to," he could break his leg,
Yeah.
and he says, "What do you think?" He says, "I think it's better that a man breaks his leg than you break his heart."
Absolutely.
And I thought that was a really powerful line.
It was. But you also saw where Jeff Bridges' character had great concern. It wasn't a money thing. It wasn't he was trying to prevent him from riding. He was honestly scared that he was going to re-injure himself or possibly kill himself if he fell off the horse. And
Yeah,
it's a lot of layers to that. I mean,
it really is.
when people say you can't do something, it's not that they're telling you can't. They just don't want to see you get hurt. I've been
Yeah,
in that situation with my back. And so, I mean, I understand completely what Toby was thinking at that point in time.
you know, that's another thing too. Like you brought up that Charles Howard, Jeff Bridges' character, and Elizabeth for that matter, his wife in this movie, they they absolutely cared for Red, and they absolutely cared for Tom. That other owner of War Admiral, if his rider would have broke his leg,
Yeah.
then he would just got a new rider and just been done
Yeah.
with them. But for Charles, for Jeff Bridges' character, these people are family. They
Mm-hmm.
became a family, and also he had a black guy that worked with him too. They were family, um, and I felt like that it went deeper for them than, like you said, money. It wasn't about
Yeah.
money. Like he was legitimately scared for Red. He didn't want him to hurt himself. He didn't want him to die because he already lost one son. You know, that's the way he thinks about it. And
Yeah.
then Elizabeth Banks didn't want to see the race because she just didn't want. She didn't want to see him get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, and that's you asked me the scene that stood out the most with her, and that's the scene that stood out the most with her is that she stayed back because she
That's a
didn't
fair
want to
point.
see him get hurt, but then she wanted to see there and be there and support him. So it's that inner turmoil. It's like you want to cheer on like a relative or something that say is doing the sport like boxing or MMA,
Yeah.
but also at the same time you don't want them to get hurt. You don't want them to suffer any type of death or whatever. So yeah, I thought that was really this movie. Like you said, it's so deep with the characters.
It's a very character
It's
driven
layered. It's
story.
very layered.
It shows you not. Also, you brought up the other guy who owned other horses. It shows you not everyone's going to have the same heart as you. You know, some people are about replacing items or even people. Um, but this family was about doing what was best for the horse and the horse rider and their family. It's about what's best. That not getting personal with it, but you made another good point about the heart of everybody in this, and I think that's another reason why I chose this movie because it really represents the heart my grandfather had. He didn't quit on people. He didn't give up on anybody in his family or anyone. He stuck by them, and that's what they do in this movie. So I think that's another layer to why I picked it. Uh, I just it's got a great heart.
I really agree. Before we wrap wrap it up, so well, obviously Seabiscuit wins, and this is it's an underdog story. He wins, and he comes back from his injury, and also Red comes back from his injury, and a couple of things. One, Georgie is in the race, but he's not in the race to win.
No.
He's literally there to support Red and to make sure that he knows what he needs in order to get up there. And that scene where he falls back
Mm-hmm.
and he's talking to him like, "Are y'all good?" And then he's like, "Yeah, just doing it, or something." And then he's like, "All right, that's it." And then he let him see his eye, and then Seabiscuit takes off. He says, "All right, go Johnny, go." But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I loved it. It's such a powerful scene. It's a very emotional scene. I was like literally like kind of like even though I knew it was gonna happen, I was like, yes. Um,
It's a very heartwarming story. It really is.
I did want to talk about my dude, William H. Macy. William H. Macy is a fictional character in this movie. Like this guy doesn't exist. Boy, TikTok McLaughlin. This guy was great. William H. Macy. Just
I loved it when he was interviewing Jeff Bridges, and he was talking about destiny, and he got tongue tied. He didn't know what else to say, and Jeff Bridges just kind of looked at him, destiny.
yeah.
you know.
My,
But
my
you're right.
favorite
I
thing.
mean, he stole every scene he was in.
Yeah, my favorite thing is with him is every time he's like doing a radio show and he's doing like any type of noise with the xylophone or
Yeah.
the slide whistle, and he just like it's like a time capsule of radio back in that day because you had to keep the listeners because there was no TV. There wasn't but they weren't wildly out like that. You know what I'm saying? Not every house had them. At this point in the United States, not every house had a refrigerator. So yeah, it just that's the type of time frame in which we living in the United States in the 30s. Um, but you have this guy at the radio station that I gotta tell you, if I was alive back then, thank God I wasn't, but if I was alive back then, um, and I had access to his radio station, that would be something I would listen to because it's just entertaining. And that scene, there's a scene where they show different people kind of crowded around the radio listening to the
Mm-hmm.
race. Um, I wonder if that's like how it was for that Seabiscuit race. Is that something that everybody kind of like they said every like stores shut down early so people can listen to the race?
Yeah, actually, that is true. Because my grandfather did tell me he did experience Seabiscuit. He told me a few stories about it. He said that was true. Like they would shut down. So I remember that conversation when he got it for Christmas when it came out. I think it was 2003. He got it for Christmas. I think one of my aunts got it for him. But I remember he was talking about what really happened, and he did mention that. So it is. looking back, it was a great experience just to hear him talk about horses in general, but horse racing. I he really loved that sport, and I was always bored by it, but he truly loved it. You know, the passion behind it. I remember that, so I take that with me. So very grateful.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely enjoyed the film. You ready to go ahead and give your markouts for the show, for the movie?
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it 5. Uh, Looking back, and everything it represents too. I mean, for me personally, but it told a really good story, heartwarming story. It is an underdog story. It Great performances. You go home happy after you watching
Hmm.
this. If you were in a theater at the time, and you feel uplifted after watching. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give it 4 markouts out of 5. The reason why I give it 4 markouts out of 5 is only because there's a little pacing issues when it came to like as much of the story they show. I know why they show it, and then the time jumps could have been a little bit more cleaner.
yeah,
But other than that, I thought it was an excellent movie. I did think that the constant narration worked at times, but sometimes didn't. And also they show like file footage of like that time frame, which I understand why they did it because they want to kind of let you know this is what was happening around this this contained story. This is what's happening that impacts this story, and so I understand that. But I guess the only reason why I give it 4 out of 5 because of the pacing. But
yeah.
absolutely thought it was great. I thought Toby, the standout is William H Macy, followed by Tim. What's your boy's name? The character actor that
Chris
is
Cooper.
Chris
Talking him?
Cooper. Chris Cooper is a standout.
Yeah,
Jeff
he really
Bridges
is.
is a standout. Like literally, yeah. I hate to say it, I do agree with you. Elizabeth Banks is the one that doesn't stand out as much, but Toby, Jeff, Chris, William H Macy, they're my standouts in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I would put Chris above them all. It's just I've never seen him in a movie with a cast like this where he really stands out. It's he's usually just this really small supporting character, but this he had a lot of meat to this character, and he performed. In my opinion, outperformed Jeff Bridges,
Hmm.
which it's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
Jeff,
I'm a huge mark for Jeff Bridges.
yeah,
Literally, I can't deny it, man. I love Jeff Bridges. So
he's good in this movie. I wouldn't take anything away from him, but Chris Cooper just brought something extra, and Toby brought something extra that you don't normally see out of his career. I mean, typically speaking, I mean, we pretty much everybody sees Peter Parker still when you talk about
and
Toby. I mean,
and you got to think about the timing of this. Like, so Spider-Man came out in 2001,
mm-hmm.
and so he was still in Spider-Man. He's still in that time frame um, when this one hit. Chris Cooper was great in adaptation. That's with John Malkovich, correct? Um, I enjoyed adaptation. I believe that's where maybe I'm wrong, or is adaptation
I think
with
it's
Jim
Nick Cage.
Carrey? Nick Cage. Okay, Nick Cage.
He
Is that the one
plays,
where the
I think,
he can hear the monologue, the inner monologue?
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I was
Yeah,
thinking it was called adaptation.
I was thinking of being John Malkovich, I think, and I apologize. Which I love being John Malkovich. It's like one of my favorite little movies. With Nick Cage. Okay. Um, he did the capital letters and everything on that adaptation. Um, but yeah, absolutely. I loved it, man. So next week, um, it's my choice,
Choice.
and right now, I say that because Brandon knows me.
I do.
Uh,
He'll tell me one thing, and he'll have 5 different movies in a day or two, and he won't know
Yes.
what he's picking.
Yeah. Right now, I'm choosing Mr. Holland's Opus.
Okay, that's what he
Have,
last told me, but I wasn't sure.
have you ever seen it?
Just a few minutes. You know, I think a friend had rented it. I had started to watch it, then I had to go home. But I never really saw it on TV or anything.
So what do you think about what Bilford asked? Bilford, you're a loyal watcher. Absolutely. What would you pick?
I mean, I have an
Best.
idea what it's going to be. It's going to be an
Oh,
art
I
international
thought you were going to say
film.
RRR.
It
No,
could
don't
be.
do that. We did that, bro. I did it. I
I
watched it.
watched 1 hour of it. I did
He
enjoy
watched
the
it.
hour I saw, but I just didn't finish it.
It's a 3 hour movie, bro.
I know it's getting
Oh,
a sequel.
he says he wants a baseball movie. Field of Dreams. I love baseball movies. What we
Major League.
talking about? Angels in the Outfield. League of Their Own. What else? The Soul of the Game, which is about like the Negro Baseball League. What we got? I'm down with that. I'm actually down with that. Brandon, you down with that?
I'm fine.
Now
I'm
it won't be
fine.
for you. It won't be for the next one. Maybe about the next pick that I will do for you, Bilfer. But it has to be something that we both can access. You gotta let us know if it's streaming anywhere. Um, but yeah, what do you think about that, Brandon?
I'm fine with it. I
Um,
like baseball movies.
I'm gonna say this. I like baseball movies more than I like actually like baseball. I don't really like baseball, but baseball movies. Man, I can get down with baseball movies.
I loved
Real
baseball as
life
a kid.
baseball.
I really did. I loved baseball when I was a kid, but I grew
Okay.
out of it.
Ooh. Was it Nolan Ryan? So you grew up in the Nolan Ryan era.
Yeah, but I was. It's back when I was a kid. It was all about the Braves. You know, it was just about the Braves, 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 Braves. But I remember Kirby Puckett and Dave Justice, Brewster's Millions. I've never seen that.
Is it
Heard of it.
Brewster's Millions?
I've heard the
Brewster's
title.
Millions.
I
It's
never.
got it has Richard Pryor, which I love
Is it a
Richard
baseball
Pryor.
movie? Is it a baseball
Sort of.
movie?
It's baseball adjacent. Uh, he is like the manager of a baseball team. I'm not doing the 1945 one, by the way. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do the one with Rich Pryor. I got to have fun with it because the version I love has Richard Pryor and John Candy in the movie together.
Okay,
That's the one I would do.
I didn't know there was
Huh?
2 versions.
Yeah, one that came out in like 1945. So the Rich Pryor one is a remake.
Uh,
It's free on YouTube, so yeah, I can choose that one. Not for this one. It'll be for my next choice. I'm gonna stick to Mr. Holland's Opus. But yeah,
then Brewster's Millions.
huh?
Then you're gonna do Brewster's Millions.
Then I'll do Brewster's Millions. I'll do it for
My
you,
next
Bill.
pick is also an audience pick. It's a documentary. I forget what it's called, but I got it saved on my phone. Katie
It's a
wanted me to.
documentary.
Yeah, it's a series of documentary films. But she asked us to review it, and
Yeah.
only the first one is on Amazon. So I was going to pick that. I was going to pick it a while back, but things kind of happened.
Yeah. Well,
The doc. No,
Brandon, what do we want people to? Okay, he's still commenting.
we would like you to share, like, subscribe to our. What in the world? Did you just change?
Who in the? Is this? Bilford is changing the game up.
It sure is.
The Attack of the Doc. The fact that you know how to do that so fast is kind of terrifying. But yeah,
It's called
Brandon,
Black Whale Ghost.
The Black Whale Ghost.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I have so many questions. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm down with the Black Whale ghost. I'm not down with it. I ain't trying to have no ghosts. We don't do ghosts. It's not for us. Not for my people. But Brandon, what do you want people to do?
For the sake of time, I'm going to try to get it out. We would like you to share, like first, comment second, share, and subscribe to the Markout Movie Podcast on Facebook and YouTube, the YouTube channel.
Yep. This episode went up on my Facebook page and Brandon's Facebook page this episode because I wanted it on there, and then also on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't put it on the Markout Movie Podcast page because I wanted to.
I didn't notice that. I shared it, so.
No, I wanted you to share it on the Markout Movie Podcast page, but
yeah,
that's fine.
I will.
All right, it's cool. But in the meantime and in between time, Aaron Whitlow.
I'm Brandon Spivey.
We thank you for marking out with us here on the Markout Movie Podcast. Thank you for the memory of Ray Johnson. And he's absent from the body, present with the Lord. So we thank you.
Amen.